Good evening. Frustration. That's the overwhelming feeling among supporters and opponents of the high-speed rail line HS2. They say they're growing increasingly annoyed at the length of time it's taken to make a final decision over the project. The £80 billion line, which will link London with the Midlands and the north of England, has been under review since last summer. A report into its future is awaiting publication. So far, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has yet to make what he calls a go or no-go decision. Here's our transport correspondent, Peter Plisner.
Orton in Warwickshire. It's one of the most blighted villages on the route of HS2. Felicitas Freeman Monk's house is close to the line. She'd love to stay, but wants to move if the line does get the go-ahead.
I don't want to see my days out on a big building site. And I find it very difficult that I cannot, at this stage, have a clear understanding of what's ahead for me.
Everybody wants this to be over, one way or the other.
Elsewhere, anti-HS2 campaigners like Joe Rukin remain concerned about the continued destruction of woodland and other wildlife habitats.
HS2 is this massive leviathan that is chopping down all these places that are irreplaceable, and it needs to stop, and it needs to stop now.
HS2's progress so far has been anything but high speed. It's almost 10 years since the then Prime Minister Gordon Brown came to Birmingham to announce the controversial scheme. Some early works have started, but things have been slowed down by Boris Johnson's decision in August to launch a review of HS2 and its spiralling costs. Of course, no one's more frustrated probably than staff working for HS2 Limited based in this building in Birmingham. The review launched by Boris Johnson should have lasted just 6 weeks. In the end, it took longer. Then it was delayed by the general election. I understand that the review document was finally submitted to the government just before Christmas. And HS2 Limited isn't the only company to relocate here. Other big firms are looking to move out of London, but this property developer is concerned that any further delays to HS2 could see them go elsewhere.
Having greater connectivity with London and more capacity on the local rail network makes it a tick in the box. It's one of half a dozen factors that will be taken into account. So losing one of those factors doesn't make it impossible to make that decision, but it makes it less likely.
And business leaders have this message for the government.
HS2 has been written into our economic planning here in the region like words through a stick of rock. And so, we absolutely need to get this approved and to be able to continue and to actually get the thing built and to get these trains running between Birmingham and the capital.
Whatever the government decides on HS2, all those debating its future want a decision as soon as possible. Peter Plisner, BBC Midlands Today.
Well, since October, people living in the Warwickshire village of Cubbington have mounted a round-the-clock protest to prevent ancient woodland being destroyed for HS2. They've occupied Cubbington Wood despite an eviction notice being served on them by HS2 Limited. So 3 months on, are they as determined as ever? John Bray spent the day with group leader Matt Bishop.
This woodland means a lot to the local people. This is where people come to, relax. I mean, effectively, they're putting in a concrete channel from London to Birmingham through the middle of the countryside.
Areas like Cubbington Wood.
We have to get in the way, and that's why we came to this woodland and put up our tents and said, I'm sorry, enough is enough. Yeah, so that's why I'm here.
And Matt's not alone. Villagers have kept this camp running 24 hours a day, every day for 3 months. They were served with an eviction notice in October. They know they are breaking the law, but say they're going nowhere.
We'd be naive to be thinking we could stop this programme, but we have to try. When you talk to people in the camp here and I say, look, if we lose, we lose. Maybe it was a waste of time. And they all say to me, it was never a waste of time. For them, it was never a waste of time because they felt like suddenly they had a voice.
HS2 says it takes the environmental cost of construction very seriously.
That is why we're delivering an unprecedented programme of tree planting and habitat creation alongside the new railway, with 7 million new trees and shrubs set to be planted between London and Birmingham alone.
As day turns to night, the protest goes on.
I could never have imagined that we'd still be here in January after Christmas. It's brought a community of people together. Most of us didn't even know each other.
But what about you personally? Have you enjoyed it?
Well, yeah, I have enjoyed it, and I feel proud that we took the action that we did to come and stand in the way of this project and go, no, we don't want you to do this.
What will be the legacy of the local residents who made a stand in Cubbington Woods?
Oh yeah, that's quite a thought. You know what, if HS2 has to go ahead, my request to HS2 would be buy this community another piece of woodland.
Or if you had your time again, would you do it again?
Yeah, I have no regrets. Yeah, there's certainly no regrets, and I hope it's not over. I don't think we're going down without a fight.
John Bray, BBC Midlands Today, Warwickshire.
All right, let's get a bit more detail now on where we are with the project. Our transport correspondent Peter Plisner, he's near Curzon Street in Birmingham. That's close to the proposed site of the HS2 station. So, Peter, do we have any idea when a final decision on this project might be announced?
Well, of course, we've had lots of false dawns with this, Mary. We should have got a decision in the middle of last year. Then, of course, Boris Johnson became Prime Minister. He launched that review. Then we had the general election, and that's where we get to today. But latest Westminster sources seem to be suggesting that Grant Shapps, the Transport Secretary, will make what's called recommendations on the scheme in early February. And, of course, we do need, if we're going to go ahead with it, a decision made fairly soon, because buttons need to be pressed to get contractors in place and, indeed, to get work underway in some of those woodlands before birds start nesting. We could lose time. And of course, those who are stuck in limbo, they want to know exactly what's going on.
Peter, we keep hearing about jobs being created as a result of HS2. Now, aside from those who are working on the construction itself, where are all these jobs coming from?
Well, they're talking varying numbers, 50 to 100,000 new and safeguarded jobs. Not all new jobs, I have to add, but some will come from regeneration around this station here. Digbeth is down for a massive regeneration. Others will come from new developments out at the airport, the interchange station. There's a massive development there called UK Central, which will create thousands of jobs.
It's estimated to cost 80 billion, this project. How much money has been spent so far, and how much work has actually been done?
Well, they reckon between £9 and £10 billion has been spent. A lot of preparation work gone on around here. They've been moving bodies from an ancient graveyard. They've knocked down a block of flats. Also out by the airport, they've been moving electricity pylons, and they're creating new access roads into where the station will be. So a lot's going on, and if it gets the go-ahead, a lot more to go on.